The Capcom Pro Tour is well underway, but there has been some issues. Today's topic: 5 ways to improve the Capcom Pro Tour online qualifiers. Let's go. First things first, guys. The Capcom Pro Tour itself is a global tournament circuit. You should expect Capcom Pro Tour events to collaborate with other already established tournament organizers so that the Capcom Pro Tour can use these events as a way to gather points, right? So depending on how well you do in these particular tournaments, you accumulate CPT points. Let's say you get top 3, you win the tournament, top 8, depending on the event, top 32, you get points. These players, these competitors get points. If you have enough points to be in the top 32 of the world on the global leaderboard for CPT, then you are personally invited to Capcom Cup. One distinct note: most CPT events are offline, right? It's a tried and true formula. Events, competition, tournaments, anything FGC, it has to be offline. And now this is the one thing that differentiates 2020, Capcom Pro Tour 2020 to every other Capcom Pro Tour. Specifically in this field, offline events are cancelled, Street Fighter League cancelled, and everything is online due to the current circumstances with COVID-19. Capcom, I do admire Capcom for not jumping ship and actually embracing the new norm of online events and such. They have implemented the Capcom Pro Tour to become an online space, right? So all of these Capcom Pro Tour events that were predominantly collaborated with other tournament organizers in an offline setting is now being managed by Capcom themselves through online, right? These are the pros. We get more Street Fighter. We get more Street Fighter. Everyone was expected, oh no, Capcom Pro Tour in 2020 is done for, it's cancelled, everything's gonna get cancelled. But that's not what happened. They've fully embraced it, and now they're doing everything online. We've already went through 3 online qualifiers so far for the Capcom Pro Tour, and it's been a bit of a bumpy road, but I'll get to that. Capcom recently released Champion Edition, and it changed a lot about the game. New characters and meta. They released a balance patch with the new game, and it's kind of shook up the whole meta as to who's good and who's bad. And with the online space and the online tournaments, now we get the chance to see what this new meta is like, how these new characters interact with other characters and matchups. One thing that's not really talked about as often is, because it's in an online environment, you're gonna see online warriors, right? You would always hear that one name that's a god online, but that person never travels to offline tournaments. And you would always ask yourself, well, what if they were in that competitive environment? How much damage would they actually be able to do? And now we have that answer with the Capcom Pro Tour being online, We're going to see new talent that that'll probably upset the status quo a bit, especially because the Capcom Pro Tour is global. We're going to see so many different names taking it to the big screen. Here we get to the cons, though. Very obvious cons if you're a big Street Fighter V fan. Ever since the launch of the game, the online infrastructure has been questionable, right? And now, because everything is going to be online, the competitor and the spectator is going to be affected. What I mean by the competitor is the online games themselves, when they play them, is gonna be borderline unplayable. Lag spikes, input delay, all of these aspects, even the stability of the match, it can freeze. These worst case scenarios will and have appeared in these online events, these online qualifiers, and that's totally unacceptable for competitors to experience, right? This also affects the spectator, because there's some spectating issues with specifically with spectator mode. When you're in a battle lounge, the game can rapidly what the game tries to do, if there's a desync between the competitors and the spectator being the person in the battle lounge, the system will try to catch up with the competitors if they're desynced. So what happens is the game will fast forward. The game will fast forward for the spectator, and you'll miss an entire round or sometimes an entire match just because the game has desynced to that extent, right? So now that's a bad thing for competitors and for spectators now, because now it's being on an online platform. Lag and rage quitting is an issue. That's quite self-explanatory. The lag in Street Fighter V is sometimes unbearable and unplayable, and when there's a tournament win on the line, it's not fair. It's not fair. An online space, now I'm going into more of the social aspect. Online as a social space does have its limitations compared to offline. I'll use offline as an example. In an offline convention, event, tournament, local, you get to experience the community in a far broader sense. You get to eat with them, talk with them directly in a group. You get to see a name to a face. All of these things are very, very important for community growth and participation. When you don't have that, and it's only the online social space, maybe through Twitch, through YouTube, through Twitter, it's not the same as if you were to meet people and compete in an offline space. An offline space as well for competitors would mean zero lag, little interruption, authentic gameplay for the most part. So those are the main cons for having online qualifiers for the Capcom Pro Tour, right? These are now the 5 ways to improve. The first one is know the map, know the geography of the players that are playing in your tournament. Because it's online, you need to factor in connectivity issues, lag spikes, all of these factors that are very important in an online tournament. The first qualifier, Europe East and Middle East, the first phase, the first one, showed this issue fully. Players were playing from from Norway to Dubai. There were Turkish players causing connectivity issues, so then people couldn't even physically play the game. A bunch of drama as well, rage quitting in the American East, I think it was the American East as well, disqualifying each other because of connectivity issues. It's not a good look for Capcom and everyone involved when these things happen, when these experiences are at the forefront of your tournament. Nobody's talking about how well they're playing. What people are talking about is the connectivity issues and the rage quitting, and that's a huge issue that Capcom needs to address. Because of the geography of it, when these players are playing from such a far distance, I'm meaning thousands of miles away, naturally the gameplay will be unstable. The connection just won't handle it. If you've got the best netcode, that can't be the be all and end all, right? The geography is where it's at. A simple fix for this would have been to have separate events. So have one for Europe East and one for Middle East, right? Simple corrections like that. I know it would have to take more logistics to be able to pull that off, but if you want a good tournament experience and for competitors not to complain, that's what you need to do. Improving the online experience as well is another important thing. With Street Fighter V, it's notorious for having a bad netcode, right? Specifically CFN. There needs to be a substantial change. There's been changes to netcode and connectivity, but there's not been an overhaul, right? And we should expect this for the next Street Fighter, for the next generation. Right now, because everything is piled up on online, is a true test for the online infrastructure of Street Fighter. And right now, it's not looking good. They need to do something. They need to improve it in some way or another. It also impairs the competitive integrity when everything is online, because you have to factor in lag spikes, connectivity issues, rage quits, a lot of too many things to factor when it's a simple tournament. It's a simple tournament. There needs to be a winner, but when that winner is winning because of lag, then that whole integrity of winning is now being challenged. That's another thing that needs to be improved. Unban the grid. Capcom, come on. Unban it. Just unban it from all of the qualifiers right now. The grid has shown that it reduces lag spikes and lag in general in online matches. Even if there wasn't research to back it up and it was just a placebo, players would be asking for it, right? And for you to ban the grid solely because of the aesthetics and the lack of aesthetics for the stage, it's not a good reason to ban it. If that's impairing gameplay, there should be no question to unban it, right? Because if you're prioritizing gameplay, then that's what you should do. If you're prioritizing aesthetic and sacrificing gameplay, that's the wrong call. If it's specifically for tournament matches, that's something on the line. You need to do that. It's a simple fix as well. Simple fix, unban it. Easy as that. A lot of players have been going to Twitter recently, and it's mainly complaining about the structure of these online qualifiers, but I think they mean well. they do use constructive criticism to try and debate their point, and I totally understand that. There's just room for Capcom to listen to these voices that are giving constructive criticism, and then to use that feedback to improve during the CPT season, right? I don't want them to improve next year, right? Or the year after, because then it'll just be too late. The CPT online qualifiers are happening right now. Things need to change now, right? And they need to be able to create an improving experience. Stuff needs to change, improve over and over and over again. And I want that to be the main driving force for CPT, just improving on what they're doing, right? And the last one isn't specifically about the CPT itself, but the content that's surrounding it. I think this is actually a good time to have really specialized content for the Capcom Pro Tour. Fighting Words and Turn the Beat Back, these are great shows to have for Capcom. It's solidifying Capcom Pro Tour discussion as the norm. And really, before then, there's only snippets and a few shows doing that. But when it's an official Capcom broadcast, that's a really good sign from the developer that they give a toot, right? That they're putting in production value and emphasizing the importance of these tournaments. It's a great sign. They need to keep on doing that. Good on you, Capcom, for emphasizing content, but keep on doing it. Keep on doing it. That's the main thing. When this stuff calms down a bit, when it calms down and people go to physical tournaments, we still need these types of shows. We still need them because that's really important for community growth. And just to end it off, we've got the South American CPT qualifier in 2 days' time. Let's see what happens with that. And 2 weeks from now, we've got the Europe West qualifier. And I don't know if you'll be, I don't know if you're expecting me to play, but we'll see. We'll see. And that's all from me, guys. Thanks for watching.